Welcome to my channel. I am Maricita Colors in English. Hello, today I will make in knitting this beautiful bag, purse or clutch. It's very easy to make. I only make one rectangle, and after this I sew the laterals. At the end I make one buttonhole. I sew the bottom. I put fringes, and after this I made this beautiful handler. I will use for this clutch 100 grams of yarn of cotton. I use this thick yarn and with the needle 4,50 millimeters. For that my thread is a little tight. I will need 2 scissors and a needle for sew at the end. Here I have 17 centimeters of white, and of long when it's close my purse is almost 11 centimeters. The fringes is 10 centimeters. It's a nice clutch that you can use all the time. So now we will learn to make this beautiful bag or clutch. Now I will make 10 stitches. For calculate the yarn for 10 stitches, I involve 10 times the needle with the yarn. I let some centimeters and I make out the yarn. And here I will make 10 stitches. I catch the yarn from the center to the left, to the right in the needle. Left, right in the needle. So like this I will make 10 stitches. At the end I will tell you how many stitches I made in my bag. Here I have the 10 stitches and I will make the garter stitch. The garter stitch is the knit stitch in the front and in the reverse of our work. We insert the needle from left to the right, we pass the yarn and we back the yarn, and the needle of the right stay with the yarn or stitch. Again, from left to right into the stitch, we bring the yarn and this yarn stay in the needle of the right and this from the left go out. Here I make in a slow camera. I bring the yarn, we back the needle of the right and catch this yarn and from the left go out. Like this I will make these 10 stitches. Here I make the last knit stitch. Always I pull a little for that my border is uniform. You always must make a little pattern for to know how many centimeters make your yarn and your needles. Now I will begin the second row. From the second row, this first stitch I don't make. I only pass to the needle of the right. And here I make again the knit stitch. So all this second round, always we will make the knit stitch. Punto derecho en español. Now almost I finish the row. I make the last stitch. I pull a little for that my border is uniform. We turn the knitting work And like this, we will repeat the rows that you prefer. The first stitch we pass, and we make again the knit stitch. This knit stitch is the garter stitch when you make in both sides. Garter stitch, punto Santa Clara or punto Boho en español. So you must make only the centimeters or inches that you prefer. Always we pass the first stitch, we pull a little, and we begin to make the knit stitch. This is the front of my work because the yarn of the begin is in the right side. So now I will show you how I finish my purse. I made some centimeters of the garter stitch, punto Santa Clara en español, and here I have 26 centimeters. I will show you how I make the buttonhole of my purse. I am in the front. I have 26 stitches, so I will use 2 stitches for my buttonhole. So 24 between two parts is 12 stitches. So I must make first 12 stitches. The first stitch I pass, and I will make the 12 knit stitches. I have the 12. I will make the buttonhole. I will close 2 stitches. So I make 1 and 2 knit stitches, and I will pass the second over the first, and we close 1 stitch. Again, I make 1 knit stitch, and the second goes over the first. And here we close 2 stitches. This will be our buttonhole. I must have the 12 stitches, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, and this is the 12th stitch. So like this you must calculate for make the buttonhole in your thread. So here I only made the last stitches in knit stitch. Now for the reverse I have 24 stitches, and I must replace the 2 stitches that I closed in the previous row. So here I will make again the knit stitches. We pass always the first, and here I will make the 12 stitches. Now I must replace the 2 stitches. I catch the yarn and from the left to right into the yarn. Again, from left to right, and I make the new 2 stitches. So now we replace the 2 stitches. And again, I will make the 12 knit stitches. In this row, I have again the 26 stitches. And I continue making only the knit stitch. Look, here is the 2 stitches that I made in the previous row, and I only will make the knit stitches. And we continue here with our 12 stitches. So only we will make the knit stitch. And look, here you can see the new buttonhole. Now almost I finished this row. I am into the front of our work. And in the next row I will close the stitches. We turn the knitting work. I will use only the knit stitch. The first stitch we pass, the second we make the knit stitch, and we let a little loose the stitches for can close. The first pass over the second. Again, we make one knit stitch and the first goes over the second. One knit stitch and we make the first over the second. Like this, I will make until finish the row. Row hilera en español. Almost I finish the row, the first over the second, and we finish to close all the stitches. Now I will close and cut the yarn. I open the last stitch, cut the yarn, we let some centimeters for sew the lateral, and now we pass the yarn that we cut into the last stitch. And we pull or push a little for that our work is uniform. Look, it's very nice, our thread. So now I will sew. This is the front because the yarn of the beginning is in the right side. So I will make into the reverse and I will join reverse with reverse. And look, we will close our purse like this. Here I have 12 or 11 centimeters. Front in front, I start to sew our thread. Like this, we must make in the another side too. I pass the needle into the reverse for finish to close our purse. So here I make a loop and I pass into the needle for make more secure my sew. And here we can close our yarn. You can see that this sew makes that your purse you can use for the front or for the reverse. When you see that your yarn is secure, we can cut the yarn. And for the reverse and for the front is very nice the sew. So like this I will make in the other side of my purse. Here in the top of my purse I have 6 centimeters and from wide I have 17 centimeters. So I must calculate where I must sew my button into the center of the 17 centimeters. Like this you must calculate. First I pass the yarn into the reverse of my purse for that my yarn is secure. This I always make in all my threads when I sew one button. So here I can see where I close and I will pass the yarn into the front of my purse for that I can sew my button. And now I will show you how I sew my button in my purse o cartera en español. I will show you how I make the fringes in my purse. It's optional en español. I have 25 centimeters of yarn and I will turn in two parts. I will help me with this hook of crochet. I will pass the hook into the thread first and after this I will bring the yarn. You must make in the same line where you make your fringes. So I pass the hook in one stitch. I bring the yarn that is in two parts. I open a little this loop and I bring or I pass the rest of the yarn into this loop. Already we have the fringes. Here I will show you again. I give you another example. You can make these fringes of the long that you prefer. I pass the hook, I open this loop, and into this loop I pass the rest of the yarn. And ready. It's an extra detail that make very nice your purse. Now I will make 3 stitches for the handles of my purse. We turn the knitting work and we will repeat the garter stitch that we make in our purse. The first stitch in the first row we make the knit stitch. From left to right we insert the needle and we bring the yarn. We insert, we pass the yarn and this yarn stays in the right needle. I pull a little for that my border is uniform. You can make the long that you prefer of your handle. The first stitch we pass and the second and the third we make the knit stitches. Puntos derechos en español. We turn the knitting work and like this we will make the long that we prefer in our handle. I will come back when I have more centimeters of my handle. Here I have some centimeters. Always I pass the first stitch and I continue making only the knit stitch. So now I will calculate. I will try if I want of this long, and here I will close my thread. I will show you how many centimeters I have. This garter stitch is very nice. Here I have 14 plus 13 or 13 is 27 centimeters. Here I will close my thread. Sorry, because sometimes I confuse the English with the German language. The first goes over the second. Always we will make the knit stitch for close the stitches. We make the knit stitch and the first over the second. Here I finish and I cut the yarn. I open the last stitch a little and I pass the yarn that I cut into this last loop. And here I pull the last stitch or push the last stitch. And we finish our handle. Now I will show you how I sew my handle in my purse. You can use both sides. Here is one of the laterals. And for the front, I will start to sew. I pass the needle into the canots of my thread. When it's ready, our handle, I make it straight and I will sew in the another side. You must try to make in the same lateral, in the same line. And into the front, I begin to sew my handle. In Spanish, asas. have ready our beautiful purse or bag or cartera en español with fringes. Look the handles. It's very nice, this garter stitch. I want to invite you to subscribe here in my channel, Maricita Colors in English. It's total free and you can find me in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Pinterest. If you like this video, you can share it with your family and friends and give one like. Thank you very much to all the persons that always comment my videos and we see us in my next crochet or knitting pattern. Muchas gracias y hasta la próxima. Chao, chao.